Hi guys, it's Thomas here from COTbase.com. Welcome to your weekly COT review. Today we're going to be looking at the 43rd COT report of 2020. Before I start the review, I just want to let you know that we are out with a new product called the COT Intraday Indicator. As you can see here on our features page, you can have a look at our premium service, which of course is the web-based service that I do the reviews on. We also have the Pro COT indicator for NinjaTrader, and then we have this new product called the COT Intraday Indicator. Of course, a lot is written down. I'm not going to go into very specific details here. There's going to be plenty of videos coming, but I do want to show you a few charts that might be very, very useful for you so you can understand what we're offering. This is a product for NinjaTrader at the moment. It's also available for CTrader, and we're working on other platforms as well. And if you look at the charts, these are 1-3 minute charts. So, candles that you can see. So you can see underneath the chart that we are looking at very, very similar charts as the long-term COT charts that I do the review about. Here you can find a lot of examples, and we also have a very useful video that you might want to see, a webinar that we did a few weeks ago, and there you can see everything in live motion. And I'd like to remind you take your attention to the fact that we have a wonderful limited offer that is available until Sunday midnight, where you can purchase this indicator for half the price. Normally it costs $9.99, but you can buy it now for $4.99, something you might want to consider. Okay, back to the review, and starting off with our first market, which is feeder cattle with a 52% change. In commercials positions, you can see that change size on the chart over there, much greater than average. There's no question that large speculators have changed their positions pretty rapidly. This, of course, is a bullish COT change signal, suggesting after this weakness that's been going on for many, many weeks now in feeder cattle should come to an end, and we could see a bit of a rebound in prices. If we move on to the 5 years chart, it's quite obvious that we have received a COT Extreme situation, a bullish one to be specific. Don't forget, of course, that for livestock markets, small speculators tend to be more commercial than in other markets, meaning there are commercial participants who just simply don't reach the reporting limits that CFTC has, so they just fall into the small speculators category. So if you see the correlation, they actually correlate more with commercial than with large speculators. So there's a bullish extreme in the market. Of course, this could grow to even greater levels. That's something you should always keep in mind. Nevertheless, we can state that both of our major signals are pointing upwards. The next market is live cattle, where we have a 21% change in commercials positions. And you can see that on the chart over there, just a second, the 1 year chart. So again, we are talking about a larger than average change size, maybe not as huge as we just seen in the case of feeder cattle, but still significant enough to be on our radar. So again, supporting all in all, I should say, cattle prices to be possibly going up a little bit early next week. Jumping to the 5 years chart, we can examine that we are, in this case, not as bullish as we are in feeder cattle. So there is a bullish extreme, but maybe not as significant as we had it in feeder cattle. So if you're, maybe looking at which market to take the trade, maybe the feeder cattle could be a better opportunity. The next market will be crude oil, the Brent crude oil to be specific. 10% change over there, a bit larger than average change size, but nothing unusually large. I wouldn't consider this to be a signal. Not that large. So going over to the 5 years chart, we can conclude that we are actually closer to bearish COT extreme levels. The example from 2018, the one I'm just showing to you right near that top, was an even greater extreme, but it's not that far away from current levels, as you may see. So we may need to wait a few more weeks to surpass that level of extreme. Moving on to large speculators, COT Extreme, we've got the natural gas market on top of our list with an all-time extreme, not only in commercials, but in large speculators as well. So as you may see, And of course, on this 5 years chart, it's quite visible that we have that extreme. It is, of course, a bearish extreme, suggesting in the medium, maybe longer term, we should be expecting a change in this trend. Now, don't forget, these all-time extremes could be there. We could see that week over week without the market actually reacting to the signal. So that's really something you should keep in mind. It really just tells you that there's a stress level building up in this so-called, let's say, volcano that we know it's going to erupt sooner, maybe later. And it's good to be prepared for that. We talked about feeder cattle. We're going to jump over that and arrive at sugar, where we have a 207 report extreme. All over the place, not only large speculators, but also in the case of commercials. And I think it's a good example here how gradually an extreme can get larger and larger and larger, and you don't really see a sudden reaction from the market. But you can be sure that once you reach a level, in case of, let's say, commercials, net short of 400,000 contracts, large speculators above 300,000 contracts, in the past, and I'm talking about 2016 in this example, that really ended the rally in the market. So we can surpass that, no question about that. But still, it's just good to know that stress levels are building up in this market. And last but not least, cotton is a market we should look at with 107 report extreme in large speculators. It's visible over there. Again, bearish extreme, but here you may see again the fact that it can increase to even greater levels in the upcoming few weeks, month ahead of us. Before we reach a top similar to the one I'm showing to you from June of 2018. Now, don't forget, these reviews are brief. I don't go into too much detail or look at all markets. There are a lot of markets to analyze, and I'm just showing you a few. There are new COT report types, other data types, and of course, you can always dig deeper by all these tools that are available to you. And again, don't forget, we've got this wonderful indicator, and we have a limited offer for it. So if you want to check that out, then please do so. I appreciate your attention. Have a wonderful weekend. Take care. Goodbye.